happy Topic Tuesday to you. For Topic Tuesday today, we are going to talk about the Sephora brushes that I have in my collection. Now I know some of them are the Pro, some of them are the airbrush, some of the handles have changed, that sort of thing, but I'm going to show you what I have, kind of talk through each one, tell you what I like, what I don't like, and we will go from there. So let's go ahead and start, I think, with face brushes. The very first one I want to talk about is the one that I have talked to death along with many other people. This is the Sephora 55 airbrush. Now, or if airbrush 55, whichever. I have two of these. I love this brush so much. And what I like this for is really buffing powder foundation over the top of a BB cream, a foundation that doesn't have as much coverage, that sort of thing. So I love to use this for powder. I do not like this for liquid foundation. I don't think it works very well, at least for me for that. I know other people do, but so this is a good look at what this looked like. I know that this has changed and it's more gray now, and I believe the handle is black, but from what I understand, it performs very similarly. I can't speak to that personally, but you know, I think Lisa SCO9 did a video on this way like a long time ago on the differences of the two. If I can find that, I will link that below for you guys. So again, the favorite combo of this is, you know, a la Lisa D1, is this with the Laura Mercier Loose Minerals. It's like the perfect combination, but I love it with other powders, with the Smashbox powder that I've been using, with MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, you know what I mean, in natural, and just really any powder foundation. This just seems to work really well. It's able to buff the foundation or the powder foundation in without disturbing the foundation that you've laid down. So this is a really great one, and again, from what I understand, the new one works very similarly, if I remember correctly, so it's definitely one I would recommend. This one is the Airbrush Precision Foundation number 56. This is pinched. It's a little bit, if you can kind of see, it's a little bit shorter. This one I do not love for foundation. That's what it's intended for, liquid foundation. I don't love it for that so much. I feel like it kind of wipes it away more than it blends in. But what it does work nicely for is cream blush, I think anyway. So I will use this sometimes just to kind of, you know, dab the cream blush on and very gently blend it in. Otherwise, if you get too crazy with it, it does the same thing with foundation, just kind of seems to wipe it all away. But so that is that one. I haven't used this one nearly as much as I've used some of the other ones. All right, and I kind of have the same issue. I think it's maybe the denseness factor or something. This is the Sephora 49 blush. And again, both these ones are not available looking like this anymore, but I believe they're still available in their new line. And this one, it's just a little bit too dense for me for blush. It works, but I just don't love it for blush. You can certainly use it for, you know, powder, you can use it for bronzer, you could use it for a little bit of contour, but I just feel like this is one I would skip if you're looking at the line, only because it's a little too dense to do any of the things that I do with powder. I'm hoping that makes sense. Okay, so one of the ones that I have from the new line, I really wanted this to work like a Coastal Scents brush that I had, and this is the Dome Stippling Brush number 41. So it's dual fiber, it's round and big around, and gosh, I think it was the Coastal Scents 312 brush or something. They did away with it, but it was one I really liked for foundation. This works okay for foundation depending on the type of foundation. I think it works well with a foundation that's a little bit more liquidy versus one that's a little bit thicker. For some reason, it just works better with this brush to blend everything in if it's a little bit more liquidy. Like the L'Oreal True Match, like the original True Match, this would work really well with that sort of type of foundation, that like consistency of foundation. Anything a little bit thicker than that, I just don't feel like it works quite as well. And you will see, I should show you, I wanted them all clean, but the bristles will kind of start to stick together a little bit if it's too thick, and it just doesn't blend very well. So I like this. It has a nice kind of feel to it as well, but it has to be the right consistency foundation for this to work well. So there's that. And this is the newest one to my collection, so I can't speak to this too much aside from I have used it, I have washed it, and I have used it. So I used it for a few days, washed it, and then used it again this morning for the first time after washing it. And I will say this, a lot of you had told me this, it does have a little bit of a scent to it. Like, it's not pleasant. It's almost plasticky or chemically or something like that, but this is, how about I tell you what it is? This is the number 79 Pro Contour Brush, and I bought this to replace or have a replacement option for you for the Sigma Tapered Highlight F35. So you see they're very similar. This one has just been worn to death. And I love the Sigma brush, but my concern is this. Any of the replacement brushes I have ordered from Sigma have not been the same. So I was trying to find a replacement that I could use and talk about for you guys, because I can't in good conscience recommend Sigma brushes anymore because they're changing. It disheartens me, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I've talked to other people that feel the same way. It just isn't exactly, it's not what, the quality just doesn't seem to be what it was. And like I said, that's disheartening to me. But at any rate, so that's why I purchased this one. I will let you guys know down the line how this, if the scent, you know, goes away. My Bobbi Brown blush brush was the same way when I first purchased it, and about 3 washes in, it was fine and it doesn't have a scent to it anymore. So just an FYI on that, but I like this. It works just as well as my Sigma F35. What I use this for is to put powder, you know, setting powder underneath my eyes. I also like to use it with my Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana to blur lines in between my blush and bronzer and that sort of thing. I really like this type of brush, and so far I like this brush aside from the scent. Hopefully that makes sense. All with my hands. And then one that I haven't used quite as much is the Mineral Powder Brush number 45. And I believe this is kind of what this line looks like now. They have a couple of different lines at Sephora. And it's for mineral foundation, obviously. But I feel like it's too, again, it's too dense. It just doesn't buff it in right. It needs to, if it's going to be this dense, I feel like it needs to have a little bit bigger head on it. I don't know. So it's not my favorite brush for that. I have used it for liquid foundation before and it works well for that, but I just feel like it takes a little bit longer, and I really prefer for liquid foundation when a brush is this dense for it to have a flat top on it, like the 110 from It Cosmetics and that sort of. That's just my preference. So this is a nice brush if you like more of a rounded head for buffing in your foundation. But again, for minerals, I didn't like it for that. That just wasn't my favorite. Okay, so let's move on to some eye brushes. I only have 4. I actually just recently ordered a 5th at the tail end of the VIB sale. I don't want to talk about it though since I haven't used it and there's really no point in talking about it. When I do use it, I will report back and I'll talk about it maybe a little bit in the haul video. So I have 4 brushes and they are from the Pro line. So the first one let's talk about is the one I've talked about the most. I've had this for, gosh, maybe almost a year now. The Sephora Pro Tapered Crease number 19. And it does come to a little bit of a taper. I do like this one for laying down a transition color, or if I really want, believe it or not, it doesn't look like there's that much of a point, but it really does help to kind of get right in that crease if you want to really lay, you know, say you want to lay down, spit it out, say you want to lay down like a darker, a really dark shade, but then you want to sort of blow it out. This is a really great brush for that as well. So you put that shade in there with another brush, like a pencil brush, then go in with this clean and really kind of blow that out. It's really, really nice. I hate to use that phrase. There's got to be another phrase, but it's the phrase that I have. So I like that. Highly recommend that brush. That was the brush, I think, the first one that I got, and that kind of launched me into buying more of their brushes because I was so impressed with how nice that one was as far as their eye brushes. You know that the Sephora 55 is the face brush that that got me started. So the next one that I had purchased was the Sephora number 10 Pro Crease. So this one is a little fluffier. Let me put it next to this one. This is a little more density to it. This is a little fluffier and is more rounded at the top, where that one is a little more pointed. The reason that I purchased this is because one of my favorite brushes of all time for kind of blowing out that crease or laying down your transition color, or for doing lots of things, is this by Smashbox, and it's a number 10 as well, believe it or not. But this is getting harder and harder to find. So when I ordered this one, I was looking for something that would be very similar to this, and it very much is. You can tell that the Smashbox one is a little bit fluffier, but they really serve the same purpose. And I was happy to have found this so that I would have another option to go to when that Sephora 10 just disappears. And I hate to talk about brushes that you guys can't get if you're asking me about brushes. That makes sense. I'm sure that makes sense, right? Okay, the next one that I want to talk about is, this was a little bit of a disappointment for me. So this was the number 27 Pro Blending. I was hoping that this would be very similar to a MAC 217. And while in shape, can you see that? While in shape they're very similar, it doesn't have the same density as a 217. I'm not sure if you'll be able to, right there, and see how that one pushes down a little bit more. Maybe if I do it this way, it's a little bit, there's just more give in the Sephora one. And while it works nicely, kind of for my stamp method, as I've referenced before, where I will place color here. I'm looking in the viewfinder so I don't poke myself in the eye. Place color here, turn it, place it there, and then blend it out. This brush doesn't seem to work as well for that method. So I very rarely use this brush. I find it to be, while I like the shape of it, I just don't like the density of it. And somebody else might, for whatever, you know, usage they might be doing, but that one was a little bit of a disappointment for me. And then the last one, and one of the more recents to my collection, is the Sephora Pro Smoky number 30. So this looks kind of like a lay down brush. And let me grab a 239 from MAC so you can see size-wise what that looks like. So it's a little bit wider, just a little bit taller, and has a little bit more density to it, and it's, you know, the width of it is more than a 239. So this, I think, is intended for really smoking out the lash line, and it works for that, but it's not my favorite brush for doing that sort of thing with. But what I have really enjoyed this for is putting like a really light shade up underneath my brow bone, because it comes to a nice sort of tip there. It works really well for placing it, and then if you get too much, you can kind of wipe it off on your towel in your lap, because everybody has a towel in their lap when they're doing their makeup, right? And blend it out. And it works very, very well for that. You absolutely can use it for beneath the lower lash line as well. I just have other brushes that I think I prefer more for that. But this is, it's also a very nice brush. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that was helpful for those of you that were curious my thoughts on the Sephora brushes that I have in my collection. On my face today, I have, of course, the Bourjois Healthy Mix. Look at, I'm getting there. I am getting there. For powder today, I used actually the Pure Minerals 4-in-1, which looks looks like that. For blush, I have the MAC Mineralized Blush and Petal Power, which I can never get these open. Looks like that. On my lips, I have Too Faced Juicy Melon. Okay, and then on my eyes today, I have, Gehm Cosmetics is coming out with pigments, and I wanted to just show you guys. They were kind enough to send me the prototype, so I wanted to send you guys. And I will list the colors below for you with a description so you know what color goes with what. But this is what I have all over my eyelid today, is this really beautiful, like minty green delightfulness. And then this purple, which is a matte pigment and gorgeous. I have that in my outer corner. I also used the Plum Tanzanite Tarte liner on my upper lash line, and I smoked that out with that same purple color and also pulled it beneath my lower lash line. And then this beautiful glitter pigment here, you guys can see, let me get it in the light there. That one, I have that just in my inner corner. And then the other two shades that they have, so there's 5 total, is this. I cannot wait to wear this right here. And then this warm brown is just also matte. And for those of you that are curious, they sell for $19.50. And if you purchase all 5 by next week, Tuesday, like if you call them pre-order or email them pre-order, then you get a $50 gift card to camp as well. So just thought I'd pass that along. I got the email on that not that long ago from them, so I happen to know that's the promotion. I just thought I'd pass it along. All right, I think that is everything. So thank you guys so much for watching again. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.